probably am going to do a couple of videos today and just kind of crank these out. I feel really motivated. I have time today. Um, so what to focus on? I want to talk about something that I've actually just recently updated my practice website, which is www.transcendwellnesscenter.com. I can put all the links below if you're curious and want to snoop it. But one of the things that has morphed in the last couple of years was just this great understanding of the fact that I am a very intuitive person. Um, when I am meeting with people, I can read their energy and I actually get channeled messages at times. The focus of the work has really shifted because I pretty much work, like I said, with highly intuitive people, all at different varying levels of like connection to that or understanding of that. A lot of focus has really gone into sort of healing, which is of course there, but these other practices like um, energetic practices that really are about them. Everybody has different abilities. We all have different roles here. We all have different goals. So a lot of people are really waking up and really being called to action. I myself was. So one of the things that came to light some years ago was that I had this very strong sense. I kept hearing the message: the systems are falling, the systems are collapsing. I live stateside, so in the States, in the Midwest, and by virtue of the work that I do, I intersect with a lot of people in different industries. So I kind of get inside view of different places. So this isn't just like based on my own, I guess, reporting. It was confirmed by people working in these industries. So I was very concerned about the medical system, the financial system, the school system stateside. Like you could just see it starting to crumble years ago. In addition, I got called to action to move my family, relocate, where it's moving towards, not away. So it wasn't like we were fleeing anything happening stateside. But while I held awareness of the fact that I felt like within 2 to 3 years that things were going to start to fall apart, I also felt this extreme calling to come to South America and to start creating programs here to basically uproot, relocate with our children, and do this enormous international move, leave everyone and pretty much everything behind. Though I have to say, I had not anticipated, but ended up doing telemedicine, online work well before COVID ever hit. So I have been doing that, settling my family here. We opened up a health and wellness center here, which is one of our big visions. We are trying to develop a spiritual retreat center in one of the coast areas here in Ecuador. But the big baby has been like our health and wellness center. All the while working full time and then trying to, from my earnings, support this project with the vision of this like holistic programming for people here. So I do energy healing, I do counseling, and my husband is a physical healer, so he does a lot with like physical healing, diet, and kind of developed a small group program, both in person and online, for basically, like, I guess you could say fitness, but it's not really fitness, but like physical health. So moving your body, recovering from illness or injury, and just kind of getting strong in body, understanding the role of nutrition in that. We wanted a wraparound program that where I kind of said like I go from the inside out and he goes from the outside in, and just kind of offer up a whole bunch of holistic services at one place. So it's not a gym because we don't even really, we have functional training equipment. We brought in a calisthenics rig, so people could work on being strong and feeling good in their body. My husband is into flexibility. He's a gymnast, trained in a whole bunch of different things, stance. And so we kind of had the split between like strength training type function, like functional training, calisthenics, but also a big focus on flexibility, because it's a huge component of physical well-being, is being able to move your body, being able to stretch, and just all around. He also works with a lot of people who've had injuries or illness and have felt restricted in their physicality, so he helps a lot with that. And then just the role of food. Like, interestingly, though Whole Foods is very prevalent here in Ecuador, a lot of people don't actually understand the role of food in their diet. So there isn't like a diet that's being forced or anything, but just kind of tuning into the biofeedback. Like, your body tells you what to eat and what it wants and what it doesn't want. So on top of that, I was in the process of developing a holistic child's program here. And then COVID hit. So it's been devastating to us. We're just entering in another lockdown, but essentially out of the past year, we've been we've not been able to operate for like 9 months. So basically we're paying for space we can't use. We're paying it out of our own earnings, and it's been really frustrating and discouraging, but I refuse to yield to what's going on. So I really believe we're here on a mission, and that maybe this is just a very difficult transitional point globally, and so we're just kind of working through this. What has come out in, I think, since COVID has hit is just this large awakening of people. I would say that my awakening happened in about 2012. My understanding and my own healing has been growing. My own abilities have been growing since then, but I've been working at it since then. So I've been awake for quite a while. I have been put in the path of other intuitives to help them heal. Essentially what I feel like I'm doing is I serve as a bridge between 3D, 5D, or higher dimensional living. I help people connect to their intuitive gifts. I help them connect to their heart resonance, which, if you're not connected to your body, if you're not connected to your emotions, it's very difficult to hear that inner voice. And so a lot of people don't want to do that because of past trauma. So obviously that makes sense with my trauma background, that I help people clear that crap. They're better able to kind of stay connected to their innermost self. I help people kind of live by design, so they create the life that they want. A lot of them are feeling called and are confused as to what that calling is or how to make that happen. So sometimes we have to really look at programming beliefs or belief systems, as well as sort of barriers to them realizing that and working through that. So it is like all encompassing. I kind of am split between like energy healing and counseling and coaching, right? So I am in the process of trying to figure out what the hell to call what I do, because I really don't feel like I fit any of those three categories fully. I'm a split between all three. Because I'm a licensed therapist, it puts me in a precarious position with my license. I have to be very careful. I always have to tell people I have a license, even if I'm not operating as a counselor. Is part of just the responsibility of holding the license. So that's one thing I am trying to figure out. I've been revamping my website repeatedly this past year as I've just gotten better into touch with what I'm meant to do. But that's sort of what I'm doing. It's like this weird split. So I wouldn't call it, I call it the new mental health. I have had outreach from other therapists in similar positions. I've actually work with people, other licensed medical providers in other medical arenas, whether it's doctors, dentists, chiropractors, whatever, nurses, but licensed medical professionals going through a similar thing where they are pulling from multiple modalities and trying to figure out how they fit. Because the reality is we don't fit the medical system stateside. We don't fit it. It's too limited. It really addresses things on a 3D level. A lot of people, especially those who are intuitive, feel like it doesn't serve them. So I am slowly pulling out of this medical system. I am going to really a cash-based practice, which for some people it might anger them, but the reality is if I take insurance, it's like having a noose around one's neck. They literally tell you what you have to do. I am contracted to give people diagnoses. I am contracted to only use certain interventions. They determine the price. They determine how frequently I can see a client, how long I can. They have total access to people's notes. If the notes are not in order and justify a meeting, they can come back and seize all money. It's just fucking corrupt, okay? And it limits medical providers, not even only therapists, but it limits us in what we're able to do. So I am just dumping that for the most part. I do still do some limited work there in the state of Minnesota, but for the most part, what's happened is I've become more international. I'm working with people who are tired of that system as well and looking for something different. And so I am calling it the new mental health, where it is sort of a synergetic blend of different modalities to help people sort of realize what it is that they're wanting to do. It's their time, not my time. I don't come with this agenda. I don't give labels. I'm tired of labels. I've never fit counseling very well in the beginning. I feel like so many people come in feeling like they're broken, and to assign a label is like, here, this is how you're broken, right? The sad reality is some people own that label, and so it's like they're like, oh, I'm depressed. No, I feeling depressed. I am depressed. I am this illness. And it becomes part of their self-narrative, is like their identity. And I'm not supportive of that. Like, I think we have patterns, and I think we have the ability to change these patterns and to grow. But I don't think that anybody wants to be defined by the things that they feel the most shame or embarrassment about. That is not what defines us. We're amazing, right? The most difficult aspect of my job is convincing people that they're not fucking broken, that there's greatness to them. That's the hardest part. It's not listening to people be upset. It's not holding space for heavy emotions. It's the fact that they think I'm blowing sunshine up their asses when I'm telling them that they're great, that I have to say that because I'm this like healer, right? Or this therapist. And it's like, no, I don't. It's the reality. But that is the hardest aspect of my job, is convincing people like you that you're not a piece of shit, that you're not broken. Whatever is happening, there's a functionality to it. There's a reason. You know, we sometimes develop defense mechanisms. We develop coping to get ourselves through some pretty tough situations. And because of that, we're able to be resilient and do so. And we need to honor that. But sometimes we get stuck in these patterns that no longer serve us. And it's just a matter of adjusting those patterns. We don't know what to do sometimes because we only know what we know, right? And that's what I feel like my role is to come in and help people kind of break apart what's not working, and then reset and really build on other ways, new ways of sort of moving through. Now, this is even more important when you're working with, and recognize that we are multidimensional beings. We are much more, we are just full of greatness, and we need to address all levels of a person's being, their spiritual, emotional, physical, energetic well-being. There's not a one size fits all. There's not one philosophy. I work with people who identify as witches. I work with people who, you know, are connected to galactic federations. I work with people who don't know what the hell they are, but they feel different. I work with people very entrenched in 3D living. I work with the whole realm, and there's no judgment in that. And it's really about me learning to pace people, and just to kind of bring, like, my gift is I can read people's pain points. So the pain points are the blocks. These are the things that limit us in doing what we're really meant to be doing, the greatness. Like, we have a hard time seeing that, right? So my role is to help people kind of clear out the debris that is blocking them, build up resources, skills, whatever, new patterns, whether it's to navigate 3D or whether it's more of the intuitive things, practices in both realms, which here's where it gets weird, because that's not typical traditional therapy. Like, if I'm going to start talking about manifestation practices or timeline jumps or, you know, dimensional jumping or whatever, like, that is not traditional therapy, but is something that takes up quite a bit of the time when I'm dealing with people who are really connected to that or wanting to learn about that. Trauma work can be, but then I'm dealing sometimes with what I call karmic loops, where I can sometimes, or what will happen is people's past lives will move forward, and it is linking up to the trauma of this life, right? Like, it's a karmic cycle. It's like a healing theme that they're working on. So it's all of that. It's not just this lifetime. Sometimes people aren't in the space to receive that, and it's just meant to inform me, and some people are really connected and they're meant to hear that. So, you know, it's just this big hodgepodge of stuff. But I believe that this is going to be kind of the new emerging mental health that you're going to have, and I'm seeing it more and more. Like I was saying, I have psychologists, therapists reaching out, going, how the hell do I do this? How do we navigate this? We don't fit the system. We don't know what to call what we do anymore because it doesn't fit the term. We do way more than that. It's needed. You know, we're rising up. We're kind of the we're bulldozing a whole new path. I am not alone in this. There is tons. There's a lot of people, I don't want to say hiding, but kind of camouflaged in your traditional medical system who are very woo, very awoke, really feeling limited sometimes because of the regulations to do the work that we want. And the only way for us to break free is to kind of go out on our own, right? And then sometimes that gets chastised because, like, we're a cash-based practice, not taking insurance. But again, it's the only way to break free from this like 3D bullshit matrix system. So, I am really compelled just to share and just say, like, I do believe that this is going to be the new mental health. I don't know. I think that every practitioner draws from their own gifts, draws from their own resonance with different modalities, and it's their specific blend. And then the clients or the people that are seeking that will resonate with that, and that is the thing that will be useful in their healing. So it's all about resonance. It's really about discernment now, and I'll talk more and more and more to the point that it's probably going to be annoying about these things, but I just feel like this is a really important time right now to be real, to be genuine, to get information out, and I hope that you resonate with it. Like I said, I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to push anything, but I will just be sharing. If it resonates with you, cool. You know, I'm glad to hear it. If you want to snoop me, if you're interested in even booking a session with me, you can check out my website, www.transcendwellnesscenter.com. Like, again, I'll put all the links in the comment below the video. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in supporting that. That is really about kind of abundant flow. One of the big things I'm trying to do is build up a program with my husband and do a lot of outreach for people who are not in a space to be able to access the care that they want. So part of it is building up the physical space. All of this has been supported by actually the healing work I do now, right? But the need exceeds our resources. So I'm encouraging, asking people to join the Patreon. I do a ton of sharing, podcasts, video logs, behind the scenes, access to myself, my family. Like, I've just opened up my whole world on that in exchange for those supporting the journey if they resonate with it, so that I can be of greater service to communities down here. This is really, really important as we move to kind of a higher dimensional living, to sort of help those who need the help and really connect on a community level. In Ecuador, there is no governmental assistance. There's no bailout. There's no unemployment. People suffer unless other people step up and try to help. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. This is the time to just be of service. That's my mission, but also to help abundance flow to those who need it, for those who have the ability to share it. So none of it goes to me. It all goes to the project, and especially creating scholarship programs for people who can't access care because they don't have the effing money to do it. And I can't, unfortunately, I do a lot of donation type services, but that's not going to pay the rent. And I could do that 500 hours and it's still not enough. So, at some point the goal is probably to even expand the team to other healers to just kind of do this massive outreach. So anyway, sending you lots of love. I hope you'll find the videos that are to come helpful. Feel free to message me. Feel free to snoop me. Like I said, you're going to see kind of a different vibe with these. I'm way more comfortable doing it. I do swear you can be spiritual as fuck and woo and still use bad words. I don't find them mutually exclusive. I also am sort of on a campaign against spiritual bypassing, which is the sense that we're supposed to be in this positive like shit all the time. And as a trauma therapist, I think that's a huge disservice. That's not how we grow. We are meant to feel pain. So I am going to kind of go into the muck. And at times maybe even use my own personal story to show you that it doesn't, like, none of us are exempt from this process. We're all here to experience, to heal. When you're in a healing phase, you're in a dense energetic space. You're meant to be there. It feels like shit. Of course it does. Nobody is able to circumvent that. You have to go through it to get to the other side. When you do the work and get to the other side, there's a lot of positive that comes through. It's amazing what I see. But of course, when we are in that, like the middle of the healing phase, it feels like a dark tunnel. You can't see light on either end. And that is the space that I hold for a lot of people, is just kind of like, I'm here with you. You're not alone. And I can tell you that the light is approaching, even if you can't see it yet. I know it's there, and I'm guiding you towards that. And I won't leave you alone in this tunnel. And we'll get you to the other side, and you don't have to do this alone. And so, sending you lots of love, more videos to come, and wishing you the greatest of days. Thanks for listening.